two, one. Lift off.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Welcome to the Colin River Show.
In a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the Colin River Show. And today we have a very special guest we're going to introduce in a moment. All the way from Arizona. We're going to connect with him real quick. Today we have news for you, Northeast, West, and South. And this is Bohemian Rhapsody. Is this a real life? We live in a dream? A world of fantasy? Our guest will clear up a lot of things here. He's a preeminent researcher. He has galvanized audiences for almost 50 years. He's from Pensacola, a Floridian, Capricornian, born in December. That's a great day. Oh, yeah. My mom was actually born in December, the same day. And he's an extraordinary researcher, writer. He's from the U.S., specialized in theology, secret societies, etymology, ufology, and he's considered one of the greatest in this conspiracy world, Because, guys, we talk all about conspiracies and no theory, only the conspiracies, yeah? And we carry on for a long time, yeah? Now, this is Jordan Maxwell. He's going to be here now in 30 seconds. I'm going to introduce him a little by little. He's now 80 years old, yeah? So, but his mind is working fine, and you'll see him now. For 3 years, he was the publisher of Truth Seeker magazine. He's a free thinker. And this was a magazine, actually, that you can track back to 1870s. He's done, loads of presentations. The most famous one that you can put up there on Google is the slide presentation of the dollar bill. And that was later on plagiarized or copied by the Da Vinci Code, and so he's influenced a lot of people. A lot of people that you follow, him. So I don't have to talk too much. So I just want to, put you to the man here. He's right here, Jordan. How you doing?
Oh, I think I'm okay. One never knows.
You're still alive and kicking there.
Yeah, well, we'll find out soon enough how I'm doing.
Oh man, don't give us a bad omen here, man. I want you alive and kicking for another 100 years at least.
Oh God, the first 100's been terrible. I don't want to do another 100.
No, man.
But I appreciate your kindness.
Yeah, Jordan, you have inspired a lot of generations, of writers, mystery writers, paranormal, conspiracy theorists, whatever you want to call them. All these paranormal. As I heard you once, you said something about preternormal or preternatural or something like this. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, a lot of people use the wrong terms. When they're talking about other world spiritual things, they say supernatural. But it's not, the word is not supernatural. I remember I used to use that term many, many years ago, supernatural, meaning spiritual things which are not understandable to us. Supernatural. But supernatural means it's natural, but it's really natural. It's supernatural. But what the correct word is preta, Preta, preternatural. Preternatural means not of this world, totally different, not of this world. And so much is going on right now today around the earth is not of this world. And people feel it. People are feeling that there's something very bad going on the earth. And there's nothing we can do about it. We're being led into it. And there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to go with it. Go with the flow.
and as you said, things out of this world. And out of this world is your story too. I mean, you actually arrived in Los Angeles in the
1959.
1959, right? Correct.
Yep, that's right.
Mhm.
And when I got here, I only had $9 in my pocket as a kid. I was 19 years old, and I only had $9 in my pocket when I got into Los Angeles.
You came from
From
Florida,
Florida,
from
Florida.
Pensacola, yeah.
Yep.
But,
And
but what about your child? I'm quite interested in your childhood because it was already like amazing, things that happened to you in your childhood there in Pensacola. Well, you had a lot of things going on, right?
yeah,
I heard you in a talk. I went down to, I don't know if it was Pasadena or Glendale many years ago, talking about something that you were. You were a kid, you were a child, and your parents, they asked you to go out or something, and you saw some things, some strange things, some animals or something. Or am I wrong? I don't know. I vaguely remember, but I think it was an interesting story. That's why I'm asking you to tell it.
well, I appreciate it. I used to, as a child, in Pensacola, Florida, because Pensacola is a naval air station, and they have a Marine base, an Army base. Is very,
Mhm.
very, that area of Florida, that panhandle of Florida, is
Yeah.
filled with military. It's all military, Marines, Air Force, Navy, second largest naval air station in the whole world of Pensacola. And the Blue Angels flying team are based in Pensacola. And so I grew up around military town. That's all I knew was military, Army, Marines, Air Force. And so when I came to California in 1959, I as I grew up in Los Angeles, as I grew up in Pensacola,
Mhm.
I used to have all kinds of other world experiences, seeing extraterrestrials, seeing things in my bedroom. I would see things at night in the sky, all kinds of interesting, strange stuff that I would see. Nobody else would see. Nobody else is looking. Everybody else is just minding their own business and living their life, and nobody was thinking like I was. I was always wondering what's going on out there.
Mhm.
What's happening out there? What is the military doing out there? Because I would see at night strange lights in the sky doing strange things. They weren't like airplanes. And so I had many different experiences as a little kid with other world subjects and other world experiences.
Mhm.
But when I came to California in 1959, that began a whole new life for me.
Mhm.
I began having some really strange experiences, meeting incredibly important people, learning all kinds of stuff that I had no idea that even exists. So it was a long time experience.
They're calling you from the service, right there. Spot on.
I get telephone calls all day long, all night long,
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah,
all over.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get about 500 emails a day,
My God.
and I am 80 years old, and everybody emailing me always writes me back and say, "How come you don't answer?
Yeah,
You're
yeah, yeah. They think, I
disrespecting me.
don't know.
You're disrespecting me. Why don't you have respect for people and answer them?" I try and tell them I'm 80 years old. I live in one room. I don't have anybody. I don't have anyone to help me. I get 500 emails a day. How can I sit here and answer 500 emails a day? How?
I understand. I had a 140K followers and emailing me, leaving comments. Hey, why don't you reply? Why don't you answer in 3 different languages? I mean,
I know.
I would have to have like 4 people just to work for me on that. Imagine like
You're right.
TV, some big people, big government. But let's focus on this one. When you were in Los Angeles, you get there. You were living like I don't know, West Los Angeles, Culver City, something like this could be, and you met some girl or somebody special, somebody different.
Yep. What happened is I ended up in North Hollywood, about, I'd say 10 miles north of the famous city of Hollywood, California. It's a
Mhm.
little small city back in 1959, almost 60 years ago. 60 years ago. It's hard to believe. But
Yeah.
about 10 miles north of Hollywood is a little town back then called North Hollywood. North Hollywood was a kind of like a bedroom community. All the big movie stars and all the important people in Hollywood, they all lived out in North Hollywood. It was a nice, quiet little town, and they get up in the morning, go into Hollywood for work. And so I lived around motion pictures, television. I'd see all the famous movie stars and all the famous people every day because I lived in North Hollywood. And then there was a time when I moved to Hollywood. I lived there for many years, so I was very familiar with the motion picture and the entertainment industry. But when I came to North Hollywood, I got a job, and every weekend morning I would walk downtown. I only lived 2 blocks from downtown in North
Hmm.
Hollywood, 2 blocks. And so every Saturday morning, I'd get up and I'd walk downtown to go to breakfast, and to hang around town. I go downtown and just to hang around. And I went to this one restaurant which was very crowded. There was no room in it at all. Why? Because everybody in the little town was going for breakfast, and so there's no room. There's no room in the place.
Was
And
that Jordan like the Cheesecake Factory or something like the House of International Pancakes, something similar, or what?
Well, it was a little Mickey Mouse little restaurant, but very nice, but little one.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I went in, and there was no room. Everybody's standing around waiting, but I saw one chair at the counter.
Hmm.
And since there's only one of me, I just walked over and sat down at the counter. Well, right next to me was a young girl. I was about 19 years old. She was about 17. So we got to talking, and I liked her. She liked me. So we got along fine. And then we decided that we would go downtown together. So I started meeting her in downtown North Hollywood, and we'd go to breakfast on Saturday mornings, sometimes Sunday mornings, but we would walk around town and hang out together because neither one of us had nothing to do.
Yeah.
And so one morning, but the point I want to make is that when we would walk home, she lived about 3 blocks from town on the same street I lived on. And so she lived 3 blocks from town that I lived on the same street. But when we would walk home, I got home first because I only lived 2 blocks. She lived 3. So I knew that she lived one more block further than me, but I'd never been to her home, so I'd never been there. I don't know exactly where it is, but I know it's only a block away.
But
And
would he speak English normal, like no accent or what, or a strange accent, or just regular?
no, it was just friends. Just she would come by sometimes on Saturday morning. She'd come to see me, and we'd walk downtown, and and hang out together. We'd go to a movie, watch a movie, or whatever.
But you didn't notice that she was not from town or out of town or anything, no?
No, she's just a girlfriend. That's all I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so one evening at night, about 9 o'clock at night on a Friday night, she came over to my place because she knew where I lived. I just didn't know where she lived.
Right.
And she came over to my place, and she said, "My dad wants to talk to you." And I said, "I don't want to talk to your dad. I don't know.
No,
I
when you're
got
19, you don't want to talk to the dad. No way.
no, I got
Wait,
nothing to say to him."
right.
And she said, "No, my father is a very important man, and he wants to tell you something. He's got something to tell you, and you better listen. You better come." And I thought, well, that sounds interesting. Maybe I will. Okay. So I said, all right. So I go back with her and I walk 1 block to her house. When we got to her house, her father happened to be coming out from the house, from his house. He came out as he saw us coming up to the house. We were walking toward the house. He came out and saw us. When he came out, I got a really very powerful, strange feeling about him. I could feel in the hair on the back of my neck raised. I could feel there was something strange about this man.
So, something spooky, something that
Really
gives you the chill.
spooky, but I could feel it very pronouncedly. But he motioned for us, come on in, and I kept thinking, I don't know if I want to come on in.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is. I don't know if I want to come on in.
But to you, Jordan, they look normal. They look like humans. and
They
everything.
look they regular. They look normal, but they
Average
didn't
people, yeah.
feel normal.
Mm.
They don't feel normal. And the moment I saw him, I felt something about him.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. I just felt something about him. And very strongly feel. You say you get vibes off of people. I really got a vibe off of him.
Yeah.
So anyway, he said, come on in. So I thought to myself, I don't want to go in. I don't know who he is. But my girlfriend's father, so he can't be that bad. My girlfriend is nice. And if this is her father, even if I'm feeling something, I don't care. I'll go in. So I go in with my girlfriend. And she has a sister about 10 years old. She was about 17.
So they were like a
And-
family.
Yeah, it was a family. And so I didn't know she had a sister, a little sister. So the 2 girls sat on the floor by the fireplace. The 2 girls sat on the floor, and her father and I sat on the sofa in the front room. He sat
Right.
on one end of the sofa. I sat on the other end of the sofa. And he began talking to me about what's going on with my life. Where are you from? What are you doing? And my daughter says she met you, et cetera, and she meets you every week and all that. And I said, yes. And so we were just talking. And then he said to me, we were just talking normal things that normally people talk about. And then he said to me, remember back in Florida when you were about 8 years old and your dad built a new back porch on your house? Remember that?
Wow.
And
It crossed your mind or something. What crossed your mind? You were thinking about he's got cameras or something or what?
Yeah, it scared me. I didn't want to show tears in front of my girlfriend,
Right.
but he scared me. And my thought was, how the hell does he know I was 8 years old and my dad built a back porch? Because that's true. He did build a back porch when I was 8 years old. But how would this guy know that? How would he
Because-
know that?
Because at the time they were in cameras, like small cameras or anything, so you couldn't possibly think it must be a neighbor or something that saw me there, or we might cross paths or something, right? Or what
I
crossed your mind?
know. I know. I'm meeting him in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I'm meeting him in L.A., Los Angeles. I'm from Florida, the other side of the country.
Out of the blue with your girlfriend suddenly, huh?
All of a sudden, out of the blue, meeting the girlfriend's father, and he's telling me about when I was 8 years old and what happened to me when I was 8 years old back in Florida. And I thought, how does he know that? And it scared me. It really scared me. And he said, well, did that happen? And I said, yes, it did happen. And he said, well, how did I know that? And I said, I don't know how you know that. And he said, well, I know that because we were there. We saw you. And I said, what do you mean we? Who's we? We were there. I said, when I was 8 years old, I went out the back porch. I didn't see anybody. He said, no, you didn't see us. We saw you. You don't need to see us. So I said, what are you talking about? And he
You were
said, well,
peeping.
what are you talking about? I don't understand what you're talking about. We saw you. And he said, well, remember one night you were about 8 years old and you went out the back porch and you were supposed to be in bed sleeping. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I did remember that. And he said, and you went out in the back porch, and the wood your dad had used for the back porch was green lumber. And it smelled funny at night, the smell of the green lumber. You could smell it.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and he said, and remember how you picked the green lumber with your thumb, and you picked the green lumber and made a toothpick and was doing picking your teeth with it and smelling it because it smelled funny? Remember when you did that? And that really scared me. And I'm thinking, how does he know this stuff? Because in point of fact, I did do that. And I asked him, I said, who are you? Where? What are you talking about? You were there. I said, my dog was there. Nobody was there but him, and my dog and myself. I didn't see anybody. He said, no, you're not supposed to see us. We see you. And then he said, we have been watching you for a long time. And you like the subject of UFOs, don't you? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, you're very interested in extraterrestrial life, aren't you? And I said, yes, I am. And he said, would you like to see some UFOs up close tonight? And I said, yes, I would love to. He said, well, come with me. I can do that for you. Come with me.
Wow.
So he and I got up. I don't know what he was talking about. He said, come with me. You want to see some UFOs? I did. I'm a teenager, 19-year-old kid. Yeah, I'd like to see some. And he said, well, come with me. So I get up to go with him, and the two girls get up, and they come out too. And we go out in the front yard. It's about 11 o'clock at night, maybe midnight, in North Hollywood, 1959. And he looks up into the sky, and I'm standing with him, the two girls, the father, and myself. And he looks up into the sky, and he starts inaudibly talking. His mouth is moving as if he's talking to someone, but you can't hear him.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he looks at me. He said, they said that they will be coming. They said they'll be coming from the south going north in about 2 minutes. And I said, who? He said, us. We're here. And he said, who it is not important. Who you are is important, not who we are. And I said, I don't understand what you're saying. He said, you don't have to. And he said, but just wait. You said you wanted to see UFOs? Yeah, well, then just wait. Give me 2 minutes. They're coming. And I thought to myself, how does he know that? And I turned to look south, and sure enough, 3 glowing objects the size of a full moon, not little lights in the sky, full moon size circular objects came from the south in Los Angeles going north. And they came over the house. They came over the house in a triangle formation, 3 of them. And they stopped right above us. They stopped right above our heads. And the bottom of these saucers, the bottom of these round saucer-shaped things, was spinning different colors. It was like laser colors. There was like a pie cut in 6 or 8 pieces. Pie cut in different pieces, and each slice was a different color, and it was circulating beautiful colors. No sound whatsoever, but just beautiful colors circulating, and they were laser colors. I had never seen that kind of color before.
Like they were like stars in the sky or something, but
well, it
moving
was
around?
a full moon. They would look like the full moon. That's how big it was, like a full moon.
Gosh.
There were 3 of them right over our heads, 3 of them. And they were the same size as a full moon. But they were spinning colors. And it was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And I was fascinated with it. I'm just a 19-year-old kid. And I can't imagine this man, my girlfriend's father, how can he do this? He just talks to the sky and the UFOs show up.
But what was he talking through an earpiece? Do you notice that he's got some kind of device or something, or just
No.
talking like that?
He just looks up in the sky and he starts talking, but you can't hear him. He's just talking. And I'm watching him doing that as he's talking to the sky. And then he said, they said they'll be here in about 2 minutes. Just wait.
Mhm.
And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, you said you wanted to see UFOs up close. Is that what you said? I said, yes, that's what I said. He said, well, then give me a minute. And they're coming. They'll be here in just a minute. And sure enough, they did come. There were 3 of them. And they came over the top and stopped, and they were in a triangle formation. There was 3 of them, and they were beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I had no idea in the world what I was looking at, but whatever it was beautiful. And so he looked up again and started talking to them again. And then he said, they said that they're leaving. They're going northward. They're leaving now. They're going north, but they'll be back around. They'll be watching you. Don't worry about it. They're leaving right now. And they did. They started to leave very slowly. They didn't fly quickly. They started moving slowly until they were finally out of sight. And when they were gone, that's it. He said, well, that's it. And I said, what did I just see? What did we just see? He said, we saw us. That's what you were seeing, us. I said, who is us? Who are you? And he said, we have been here for a long time. We've been watching you for a long time. And he said, and he also, I forgot to tell you, he said to me, when you were sitting on that back porch that night when we saw you, you talked to God, didn't you? And I remember it was a full moon when I was 8 years old. I was sitting on the back porch in Florida, and in Pensacola, and looking at the full moon, and as an 8-year-old, I was talking to God, and audibly, I was talking to God. And I said to God, well, he told me, he said, you talked to God, didn't you? And I said, yes, I did. And he said, and what did you say to God? I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. And he said, I'll tell you what you said. You asked God to allow you to do something important in your life. You didn't want to be here just because you were born. You wanted to do something of importance with your life. Is that what you said? And I said, yes, that's what I said. And he said, well, we heard you. We were there. So we are going to give you something important to do. You asked God to let you do something important, so we'll give you something important to do. And I said, what are you talking about? And he said, what we want you to do, we brought you. Then he said to me, how come you're in Los Angeles? What brought you here? Why are you here? And I said, I don't know why I'm here. I just had to come. And he said, that's right. I brought you here. I brought you to Los Angeles. And why did I bring you? Because you said to God you wanted to do something important with your life. So I'm going to let you do something important with your life. And I thought to myself, who are you? Where do you come from? You just look up in the sky and UFOs come, and now you're talking like you're in charge of the whole world? I thought to myself, who are you? And he said, it doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter who I am. It matters is what you're going to do for us. We have something for you to do. And he said, but what you're going to do will not happen till the end of your life. We have given you something to do, but it won't happen till the end of your life. So don't worry about what you're going to do right now. You're only 19 years old. Don't worry about it. It won't come to the last part of your life. We have something for you to do. After all, you did ask God to let you do something, so we're going to let you do something. And I said, what am I supposed to do? He says, not important. Don't worry about it. When it comes time, when you get old enough and it comes time for you to do what we want you to do, we'll let you know. You will know. You'll already know what you have to do. So don't worry about it. Just go on out and live your life, and you will meet who you're supposed to, and you will learn what you're supposed to, and we'll make sure you meet who you're supposed to, and we will train you. Little by little, we will train you so that when it comes time, you know what you have to do. We don't have to tell you nothing.
And this Jordan, what happened then with your girlfriend and the family, the alien family? Did they
Yeah.
leave? Did just from night to day suddenly disappear? They vanish, or did they call you and say, "Hey, we're going"? What
No,
happened?
and so that night, when I'm talking to the father, I
Mhm.
look at my girlfriend and she's smiling and looking at me because I could tell she was thinking she wanted to see how I was reacting to her father. She already knew who he was and what he does, but she wanted to see how I would react to him. And I looked at her and I looked at the father and I thought, who am I? Who is this girl I'm with? Who is her father? Why am I here? None of it makes any sense to me. No, because you're just a kid. And so eventually, I used to go over to their house sometimes on weekends. It was only a block away. And I go over to their house and we would go out and taking a drive. We'd go way out in the desert and have breakfast. And we'd drive here and drive there and spend a lot of time together with me and my girlfriend and her family, the other two girls,
Mhm.
the two girls, the mother and the father, and me.
Wow.
And then one day, I went over to their house, which was only a block away. I went over to their house, and they were gone, totally gone. The windows and the doors of the house were wide open, no furniture, nothing. They had vacated and gone. And I was really very depressed because they were like a family to me. And
Yeah, I
now they're
figure.
gone. My girlfriend didn't tell me they were going. They didn't call me. They didn't tell me. They didn't do anything. They just left. That's it. And so I went over. They were gone, and I've never seen them ever again. It was
But
incredible.
mhm.
But
Did they have? Go ahead. Go ahead.
he told me that night, he said, I'm going to prepare you for your journey, where you're going to go and what you're going to do for us. I'm going to prepare you tonight. I'm going to give you a book. I want you to read this book and it will prepare you to be who you're going to be and do what you're going to do. So we went in the house and he pulls out this book off the shelf and hands it to me. And the book was called The Complete Works of Charles Fort. The Complete Works of Charles Fort, Fort. You can still buy it today. It's a very popular book, a very
Yeah.
thick, popular book. And he gave that to me. He said, now I want you to read this. I want you to understand what's in this book and read it. And this is what's going to form your destiny in the future because of this book. You just keep this book and read it. So I did. Took the book home and read it. It was a fascinating book.
Of
And
course, Charles Ford, the Fortean Society.
yeah,
Uh, he passed away, but he wasn't popular for another 10, 20 years, I think.
oh, at
At he,
least that. Yeah, at least
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
And then
today,
the books got
today
released.
it's yeah. Today he is still very important. Charles Fort,
Charles Ford, yeah.
Fort.
And the
It's a
Fortean
big, thick
Society
yeah.
magazine
It's a
stuff.
big, thick book. It's a thick book, and the book is called The Complete Works of Charles Fort. You can buy it today in the bookstores or order it on Amazon. It's
Yeah,
on my website. It's on my website. If you go on my website, which is Jordan Maxwell Show,
we have it
keep that.
just right here, just
Yeah,
right beneath our screen.
good. It's Jordan Max.
www.jordanmaxwellshow.com. That's the
Yeah,
legit.
remember to add the word show because
Yeah,
there are other websites out there that are not mine.
they're not
They
legit.
use my name, but it's not mine.
Yeah,
My website is jordanmaxwellshow.com.
mhm. They're impersonating Jordan to gain some financial
Well, but
money.
the problem is, I only have one website, Jordan Maxwell Show. And when you go to Jordan Maxwell Show, there's a little flyer, a little marker that says recommended materials. Click on that little button that says recommended materials. And there's all the books and videos and people that I recommend everybody should know about. They're recommended materials. So people, I have a lot of people writing me and calling me, emailing me, and saying, Jordan, what do you recommend? Do you have any recommendations for books or tapes or anything we should get? And I said, why don't you go to recommended materials right on my website in big letters, recommended materials.
You can see
Why
there
don't
the
you-
menu, home.
Why don't
research
you
society
click
website.
on recommended materials instead of calling me and taking up my time to call me to ask me if I have any recommended materials? It's right there on my website. Click on it. It says recommended materials.
Can you
And
can
it
you
will-
see can you see the website? It's right on the screen now. I put it
Yeah.
up. It says recommended materials is the third, the third name on the menu. Home, Research Society website, recommend. And when you click that one, it takes you straight and for free. You see there this little blog that you also have there. The new online videos by Jordan. You have Cosmocrats, and you have Jordan Maxwell, The Revealing of the Ancient Mysteries, and all the recommended books: Women's Encyclopedia, The Women's Dictionary of Symbols, Mythologies, Last Gods, the Companion Bible, Enlarged Type Edition, etc., and audios on the right-hand side of that page. Right, Jordan?
all of those books, and look for when you're on that, you look for the complete works of Charles Fort.
Mhm.
It's
Let me
on
see
there
if-
too. And you just click on it, it'll take you to where you can get it. It'll show you where to get the book.
Yeah,
But
Ancient
those are the
Egypt.
books- Now, those are the books I highly recommend. So if you want to ask me what do you recommend, there it is. It's all right there. All the things I recommend are right there. The books, the people, the websites, the videos, everything I recommend is on highly recommended materials.
So people will stop calling Jordan and hassle him with recommendations because they're right there on the third page of his blogs, his website, jordanmaxwellshow.com. And you have here as number 18, the complete books of Charles Fort, the Book of the Damned, Low, this great book. I read them all already. Wild Talents, New Lands. We have Our Hunted Planet just right there, just right beneath, and then even the complete Guide of Mysterious Beings. I think that is John Keel. That's not Charles Fort. That's John Keel. But Charles Fort, two books there. Well, several books there because they're split in several tomes, I think, or books on Amazon. And strange things, strange events that Charles Fort used to talk about strange apparitions, people walking in the middle of the snow in England, people combusting, human combustion or something like that, right? Can you
Yeah.
recall some of these
The
stuff?
book was called The Complete Works of Charles Fort. What that book was is it was a very thick book of all of the strangest things that have ever happened on the earth. Strange, incredibly strange things which have happened on the earth that nobody can explain. No one, no scientist, no organization, no one touches these things. These things are in the book. Nobody's ever talked about. Nobody will talk about. Nobody acknowledges it because there's too strange things which have happened on the earth. Nobody knows how or why. Well, I think that's fascinating to look at all the things which have happened in this world that nobody knows how it happened. Nobody
Yeah.
knows, and they have no explanation. But that got me started questioning reality. I
Mhm.
began to question everything because if all of this is happening in a thick book,
Yeah, he talk even about fish falling from the sky, strange
right.
icebergs, even like big rocks, blood, sand, animals falling from the sky too. Well,
that's
incredible.
right, exactly. All kinds of strange stuff that people have never heard of before. But what makes his book so important is that he footnotes. Every single paragraph is footnoted. Whatever he's talking about, he shows you where he found it, who wrote the article, what magazine it was in, what was the date, who wrote the article, when was it published, and where you can go and find it yourself. That's what makes it so important. It's been used in motion pictures and television production companies, because if you want something really interesting to make a story out of, go to Charles Fort, but he will tell you where to go for the evidence. You go and read it yourself. And so that's what this the Father gave me, and that got me started wondering about all the world I live in. I didn't know these things were happening. I was just a stupid kid. I knew strange things were happening to me, but I had no idea in the world what I was going to learn by reading this book and what I was opening my life up to. I was opening myself up to a whole world of knowledge about things that most people have never heard anything about. And it did start me on my way. Just as the Father said, this was going to begin your journey. Well, it did. And so since then, I have always been, for the past 60 years, I have always been interested in the world that's hidden, all the secrets of the world. I'm fascinated by that because that book got me started. All the things which are happening on the earth that nobody knows anything about, nobody understands how they work, nobody knows where it came from. But that's what I'm interested in, all the dark secrets of the world.
And did it tell you anything about our supreme leader, Uncle Donald here? He has something to say too. I don't know if it's about aliens, but I don't know if they said this. But let's hear, Uncle Donald. What do you say? What do you say?
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
So the aliens probably sent him down to deal with America first, huh? He's got like another 16. He's on somebody's shop. You know, it's not. I don't make the money on this one, but it's funny. It's like this little guy here, Jordan. Also, I think you probably had a sighting with this little guy, this little fella I just made. You know, I make these things and stuff.
Yep.
A little gray is like a reptilian kind of skin. Like alien, could be the sun or something, or biorobot. What would you say about this? And if you have any experience with one of these, what would you say? I mean, I don't know anything, so you're the master here.
Yes, I used to go up to Area 51, and
Right.
just outside the base. You can't go on the base, but just in the same area as Area 51, there's a little town, a little tiny little town. The only thing is there is a little grocery store and a restaurant and a hotel, a motel, restaurant, bar, restaurant, and a little mom and pop grocery store, and that's it. It's just
Close to the box, right? The mailbox thing.
yeah. Yeah, it's close to the mailbox, but the mailbox is 19 miles south. So the mailbox is 19 miles before you get to Area 51. And that little town, that little place is called Rachel. Rachel, Nevada is a little tiny little Mickey Mouse little restaurant, a motel, and a mom and pop grocery store, and that's about it. And so, but 19 miles before that, if you're coming from Las Vegas going up there, 19 miles before that is a mailbox, a very famous mailbox. And that's where people go and park to see UFOs, because that's where the Area 51 is, right over the mountain. So anything coming into the base or going out of the base will come over your head and you'll see it. So it used to be a lot of people would go out to the mailbox 19 miles before you get to Rachel and sit out there all night long, park out there all night long, bring your coffee and your sandwich and everything. Just sit out there at night and wait and see what's going to come in and what goes out. So a lot of people were doing that, and finally the base moved their UFO operation north of Area 51. It's in an area called Railroad Junction, which is
The
about
railroad junction,
It's about 20 miles north, 20 miles north of Rachel on the highway.
Mhm.
And that's where you go at night to see all the UFOs and all the UFO activity in the sky. Is it 20 miles north of Rachel? Used to
I
be,
have some look. I have some footage I put up of you there at Area 51 that I found on
yeah,
the internet,
yeah,
and
it's interesting. That's a good picture.
yeah, and we can see you there quite clear there. Huh?
Yep,
Some with somebody else. Well, you see him driving and stuff, and then pointing at different places there.
yep.
So you've been there. This is proof that you've been there. So people they think
I
like
used to
you're
give
making up
lectures.
things and stuff. Yeah.
I used to give lectures at Area 51. I used to give lectures
Hmm.
uh, at the Rachel, at the big restaurant in Rachel, and there was a big restaurant there and a bar, and they used to have speakers, and I would go up and give lectures about UFOs and Area 51 and all kinds of strange subjects,
Hmm.
and so I used to do that all the time.
And
And
we see you there having a nice cigar, enjoying. Huh?
yeah, so I was there one night. Excuse me. I was there one day, and we went out at nighttime. I asked Joe and Pat Travis, the owners of that little restaurant.
Yeah.
I asked them, where do people go to see UFOs? And Joe Travis said to me, you don't have to go anywhere. They know you're here. If they want you to see them, they'll show you. They'll show up. You don't have to go anywhere. And so, but Pat, his wife, said, well, if you want to go where all the tourists go, you go back toward Las Vegas. Goes back south toward Las Vegas, 19 miles. And right there at 19 miles, watch it on your speedometer, 19 miles, you will see a big mailbox on the side of the road. Park
Hmm.
there at the mailbox. Just park there and get out and just sit and wait. And if you're going to see anything, that's where you're going to see it, at the mailbox. It became very well known, very famous, the mailbox. Everybody went to the mailbox because that's where UFOs and all that UFO activity was happening. So I got in the car, and I had with me a lady friend and my publisher friend from San Diego, a man and a woman. The man's in the back seat, the woman's in the front seat, and I'm doing the driving. And
Hmm.
Pat said, go back toward Las Vegas, go south to Las Vegas, 19 miles until you see the big mailbox, and stop and park there. That's where all the tourists go.
Hmm.
So we go out, and I'm driving, and it's about 10 o'clock at night. I'm driving out onto the highway, and I turn left and I go north, not south. And I
Hmm.
go north for 19 miles. And at the 19-mile marker, we slow down. I turn on the bright lights, and we slow down looking for the mailbox. And then the lady friend I had with me was a talk show host from Hawaii. Her name was Ivy West. And Ivy said to me, she said, wait a minute. We went north. We were supposed to go south 19 miles. We're going north. And I said, well, why didn't you tell me before? I didn't even realize it.
Gosh.
I didn't realize we were going north. And she said, well, let's go back, and we'll go back to the motel, and we'll go back out tomorrow night and do it right. I said, okay. So where we parked, we pulled to a park on the highway, and where I pulled, because I had to turn around and go back. And so where I pulled off the road, there was a wide dirt road leading off into the desert. It was
Mhm.
very level road leading off into the desert. And so Ivy and Paul, my Paul was my publisher friend from San Diego, and he and Ivy were my friends, and we were out there by ourselves at about midnight on the desert at midnight, 20 miles north of Rachel, in an area called Railroad Junction. And Paul and Ivy said, look, there's a road going out in the desert. Let's drive out there. And I said, no, thank you. I don't want to drive into no desert, because it's just a regular car. I don't have I'm not going to drive into a desert with just a regular car. And Paul and Ivy said, look, nobody's going to bother you. Nothing's going to happen. Just drive out a little bit. Just go out a little bit. So they kept whining and complaining. I said, all right. So I drove out about 2 blocks, and then I felt something was very wrong, something I had done wrong, and I felt it. And I stopped the car, and I said, I don't know what we've done here. We've done something wrong. I need to get out of here. And Ivy said there were no signs. There were no signs that says no trespassing or it's government land. There was nothing. We didn't see anything. You're all right. And I said, no, we're not all right. There's something wrong. We've done something here, and I need to get out of here. So I turned around. I backed the car up and started to turn it around to go back to the highway. And I stopped the car. And Paul and Ivy kept saying, stop the car. Let's get out for a moment. And I thought, I don't want to get out. I want to get out of here. And so I finally stopped the car, and we shut the engine off, and we got out. And then we figured, then we found out that the whole sky was overcast. There was no light at all. No moon, no light, period. That was totally, totally black. And when something is totally black, one little light you will see immediately. And while we were standing out there in the total black, we saw the cloud from the south of us opening up. It was opening up, and an opening in the cloud, and 2 beautiful, glowing
objects,
whatever they were. I don't know, but they were round, circular objects, and they were glowing bluish white light objects. And as those 2 objects came in, they weren't flying quickly. They were just moving slowly. And as they came through, and they were reflecting their bluish white light off the clouds above them. So as they came in, we were fascinated with these beautiful bluish white light circular craft over our head. And while we were looking at them, 5 more came in behind them.
Wow.
Now there's 7
Wow.
bluish white discs, each one about the size of a full moon, not a little light, a full moon size over our heads, 7 of them. And they're glowing bluish white. And they were doing all kinds of strange maneuvers. They would quickly maneuver all over and jump around. And we were fascinated watching their maneuvers, what they could do. And they would change places instantly in a blink of an eye. In a blink of an eye, they'd change, and then they'd bloom, boom, 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 and then in a blink of an eye, they'd stop again. And I thought, wow, man, did you see that maneuvering? And I kept thinking, we humans don't have that kind of technology. I don't know how they do that. And so we watched until I finally got scared. And I said, I got to get out of here. So we got in the car, and I said, let's get out of here. I don't know who this is, and I don't know what they're doing, but I'm scared. I want to get out of here.
And hit the metal to the pedal, to the pedal, to the metal.
Take the pedal
Gas
to the metal.
it,
I
man.
put my foot to the floor.
Oh, my God.
And shot straight out. Because I knew that the highway was only a couple of blocks, and I put my foot to the floor. When I flipped on the lights on the car, I didn't want to overshoot the highway and end up on the other side out in the desert. And so we got out on the highway, and then we got out of the car when we got on the highway, because all of a sudden we weren't frightened anymore. And we felt all right. We felt safe. And the 7 UFOs had gone back out into the desert, and they were gone.
But you think they were human made, or
Uh,
alien made, or
no,
what?
no. They were obviously extraterrestrial because they were not of this world. What they were doing and what they could do and what they looked like was something we've never seen before, ever. The most phenomenal thing I've ever seen in my life was
We're gonna
seven.
take a little. We're gonna take a little break here, Jordan, so you can drink some water. Huh? You feel strong enough to do another 30 minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Okay,
Sure.
so we're gonna take a little break here while we see some images there, and Jordan can take a breather. He's already 80 years old, but as you can see, his mind is like the 15, 16-year-old, high IQ. Remember, I'm an expert on IQ, so I tell you, I don't need a test. And he
Mhm.
remembers a lot of things. Even my granddad at that age couldn't remember those details and tell you like things like this. But this is like Galileo and Bohemian Rhapsody. Let's take a breather with Bohemian Rhapsody. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone joining the chat. I know we got some Spanish people joining in. That's great. Just to tell you, today's in English, no Españolo or Portuguese. And I will caption the movie. I will subtitle the movie for all those Spanish people. I know you're very interested. Huh? Whoever that comes from America, from Hispanic America, and those communities, they are interested in what Jordan has to say. Spain and the other colonies or ex-colonies in South America, we want to say hello, hola a todos, and vaya con Dios, Godspeed, and of course, make America great again. And you have Jordan also website here. We could recommended materials. You can go to Jordan Maxwell Show directly. That's Jordan www. You have it now on the screen, I think. Uh, I'm playing it for you. It's Jordan Maxwell Show.com. Jordan Maxwell with two L's. MAXWE for Edward. LL for Latin. SHOW show.com. That's the legit website, by Jordan Maxwell with his bio, his Research Society website that I'm actually registered to the website. If you want to be learning some good things about all these secret societies, the Illuminati, and how these secret societies control the world, join the Research Society website. It's just right there below. And also donate to Jordan right there right on the button. Donate to those who donated. Thank you, and donate Bitcoins too. You see, Jordan. He looks like a gamer. He looks like a 16-year-old playing Fortnite. He's got Bitcoins. He's got PayPal. He's up to date. So we're gonna go back to Jordan now. After this breather. And I want to say hi to all of my family in London and also family that I have there in southern France. They're watching, and Los Angeles, of course, Santa Monica. My grandmother is still up there on 22nd and Wilshire. You can go and talk to her, Irene. She's even older than Jordan, and she's a grumpy old lady. 5 times married, to different pals. Some of them very rich. But we are going back now to Arizona. Like that song from the Beatles. Get back to Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. But you're not in Tucson, are you, Jordan? Where are you?
I'm in northern Arizona. Tucson is very south. I'm in the north. It's called Flagstaff, Arizona.
Flagstaff, Arizona, and people that
Flagstaff. That's in the
um,
north. I'm up in the
n-
mountains with the snow in the mountains.
that's great. Nice environment, nice nature, being in contact with nature, and
Yeah.
also I have here another thing that I had somebody made for me, and you can tell us a lot about these things because you were actually broadcasting radio for many years, also with Nick Nocerino, I think, and this is the
Yeah,
Crystal
one of
Skull.
my dearest friends, one of my best friends was Nick Nocerino. Nick Nocerino. Nick Nocerino was a very famous man many years ago who brought the idea of the crystal skulls. People had never heard of the crystal skulls till Nick Nocerino started talking about the crystal skulls, and now even Spielberg and George Lucas made made a movie, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
You actually
Because-
met George Lucas, and you were dining with him or something, and you had some kind of anecdote, right? Can you tell us about meeting George Lucas, the man of JJ?
Yeah.
Great movies, I mean, I think he's a great, creative, innovative. I mean, he's not like a director like John Ford, of course, or Frank Capra or something, but he's great.
He's a wonderful producer.
Yeah, producer. Yeah, that's right. I am very creative too. I mean, what do you have to say about that experience with George Lucas? Can you tell us before we go onto Nocerino?
Yeah, there was a big party quite a few years ago, a big party at Disneyland. There's a special invitation only party. And I got a special invitation from Disney to come to the party. And I met the president and chairman of the board of Disney and George Lucas, and I had lunch with both of them. It was a wonderful experience. I was there at Disneyland. Everyone was eating. It was lunchtime. And I got lunch and sat down at the table. I wasn't even thinking about where I was and what I was doing. I just got the lunch and then went over and sat at the table. And then come to find out, when I sat down, right across from me at the table was George Lucas. And right next to me was Michael Eisner, the president of Disney, president and chairman of the board of Disney. And so Michael Eisner and George Lucas and I sat and talked for a while. We had lunch together. And that was a very interesting situation for me. I wasn't expecting that. But I just happened to sit down in the right place at the right time and met both of them. And George Lucas said to me, he asked me, I introduced myself to them. I said, Mr. Lucas, my name is Jordan Maxwell. And reached over the table and shook hands with him. And he said to me, Jordan Maxwell, you've got a book out. It's got a red cover. And that book is called The Book Your Church Doesn't Want You to Read. Is that right? And I said, yes. And I said, I'm honored that you would know about my book. Yes, I'm flattered that you would know about my book. And he said, well, the only reason I know about your book is because I don't read books. I don't have time to read books. I hire people to read for me. I don't have time to read for myself. And he said, so, yeah, you're seeing a picture of George Lucas, myself, and Michael Eisner, the president of Disney, is at top left. And he said, I don't read. I pay other people to read for me. And he said, but my wife bought your book, and she really was impressed with that book, and she made me read your part. Because I just had a part in the book. There were other authors. Steve Allen was one of the authors. He was my favorite author in my book, was Steve Allen. And there were many other authors. But George Lucas said, my wife made me read your part, what you did. And I was very impressed with it. And he said, so that's why I remember your name, because my wife made me read it. And Michael Eisner, the president and chairman of the board of Disney, was sitting next to me. And he said to George Lucas, he said, who is this? And George Lucas said, this is Jordan Maxwell. He's an author and a writer and a researcher. And so I met Michael Eisner, and we had a real nice talk among the three of us. There were other movie stars there at the table also, quite a few. But I was talking to George Lucas and Michael Eisner. And I have met a lot of people in Hollywood. I know a lot about what's going on in Hollywood. And now I'm in northern Arizona. I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona.
And you're quiet there, relaxed, getting healthy, and we got the Crystal Skull here. Nick Nocerino. Tell us about Nick Nocerino. Very interesting things getting into
Yeah,
a
Nick
castle in Southern
Nocerino.
Europe, Second World War. Yeah.
His name was Nick No Nocerino.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Nocerino was a world-class expert on crystal skulls that have been found in Central and South America. There were crystal skulls, actual skulls with moving jaws, skulls that were glass. And they were like no other glass that's ever been found in the world. These were ancient, very, very ancient skulls made of a crystal that were buried in the dirt, and it was found. One was found, and another one was found, and they started finding these crystal skulls in Central and South America, and that's why they made a movie of Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, because there are crystal skulls, and I knew Nick Nocerino, and I used to help him when he was speaking at conferences. He needed help, so I would go down and meet with Nick Nocerino. I carry his skulls around. I carry the boxes with the skulls in them, and help him set up his lecture for the evening. So I was very close friends with Nick Nocerino, and he was phenomenally fascinating man. There was nothing he didn't know about the world of the occult, spirits, demons, devils, Hollywood, motion pictures, and all the strange stuff with aliens, UFOs, and alien stuff. He knew it all. He was a world-class expert. And I used to hang out with him and learn from him. But that's why I always say I am not the world's foremost authority on anything. I've said that many times. I am not an authority. I'm just an ordinary man pursuing extraordinary knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm
What
just
what
a
what did what did Nocerino say about the skulls? What did he what did he think they were? These skulls. They were brought by.
communication devices like a telephone.
Mm-hmm.
They were a communication device that the extraterrestrials, the ETs, kept to communicate with each other.
Wow.
Because you could talk to the skull, and other people who had skulls would come back and talk to you through that skull. It was like having your own telephone, but it was not a telephone. It was a crystal skull, a glass skull.
Mm-hmm.
You could talk to the skull, and somebody else would come back and answer you and talk to you too. But they were not human.
Mm-hmm. But these skulls actually, do they save also information, some data from the surroundings or something?
Yeah.
I heard some story like this, like it might actually save some, like, auras of people, or the history of people, or sounds, or some kind of vibrations, and it actually records these kind of registers. But I don't know how they really work. I mean,
Okay, let me
this one
tell
doesn't
you.
record anything. This is the one that I had made.
Yeah. Let me tell you, when you go on my website, jordanmaxwellshow.com, you will see another website that I have. I have two. You will see a second website. When you go on jordanmaxwellshow.com, there's a second website, and it says Research Society, Jordan Maxwell Research Society website. So if you go on the Jordan Maxwell Research Society, that's it right there. Click on login. You got to join first. You got to join it. You click on join. And once you join it, then you click on login. And when you go to log in, you will find that I have all kinds of research material from all over the world, all
Yeah.
kinds of strange stuff that people have never heard of before, with crystal skulls with Nick Nocerino. And you will see one of the first places you go for audio. On my research society, you will go, and when you log in, you will see a folder that says audio visual or important people and links. That's another place you need to go to. On my research society, go to important people and links. And when you click on that folder, important people and links, it will show you all of my friends who are very, very important people that I have known and worked with that are extremely interesting, intelligent people talking about important things that you need to know about. And when you go to them,
Can I
when
show
you
a little bit of the vault from my iPhone? I'm showing the vault there. When you enter, when you log in, you will see that.
yeah, there it is.
See,
The
I'm logged
research.
in now, and you see that, and then now you will see something like this, like he's
You go
saying,
to important people and links. That's right. And
audio,
so
video.
that's
Right?
right. And then down the line toward the bottom, there's another that says important
Yeah.
people and links. That's it. So you
Now we
click
click.
on the important people and links, and you will see one of the first people is a guy named Bill Jenkins.
Bill Jenkins, the
Bill
broadcaster. Yeah?
Jenkins. And Bill Jenkins used to be a major, major name. That's Manly P. Hall. Manly P. Hall. The next one, there's Bill Jenkins. There's my friend Bill Jenkins. He was the head of ABC News, Los Angeles. Bill Jenkins. Now you'll see the Open Mind. You see it right there with your fingers on it right now. Open Mind Radio Show. Bill Jenkins used to have a show on ABC Radio, Los Angeles, called Open Mind Radio Show. And Bill Jenkins was absolutely sensational. He had on all the most important, impressive researchers and writers, etc. So you go on my website, Jordan Maxwell Show, and click on the Jordan Maxwell Research Society website, and you have to join. But when you join, it's going to have all kinds of audios and videos, books, and people that I highly recommend, all kinds of important stuff.
It's Open Mind. I'm Bill Jenkins, and you're going to need one tonight because we probably are going to sort of brush ever so lightly so many things that have been brushed.
That's where you can find a Jordan
some
Maxwell
detail
Research
here
Society, right there.
That's
but one
it.
of the finest masters of weaving these tales, and they're not just tales, but they're the results of a lot of science.
Or the Roswell crash, for example.
Yeah,
Hey,
and so what I'm saying is that when you go and click on Bill Jenkins, click on his radio shows right there. Click on it, says Open Mind Radio Show.
What is the stock market going to do tomorrow?
And on that radio show, there will be a list. There's a list of people that he's interviewing. And then click on Nick Nocerino, and it says Crystal Skulls.
Yeah.
And it will be Bill Jenkins interviewing Nick Nocerino on the Crystal Skulls. You listen to Nick Nocerino, and I'm telling you, he will blow your mind. He's fascinating. The stuff he's talking about, it was absolutely incredible. You go on Bill Jenkins' Open Mind Radio Show, and then click on the interview he did with Nick Nocerino.
I think this is the Nick Nocerino show.
Yeah.
Means that most of you are right here with us on this little excursion into a different world most of you don't know. And tonight we'll talk about sparkling, spanking amazing crystals. So stay with me.
Crystals. And I was the only one at that time who was actually doing that. Marcel, when I met him and talked to him,
That's Nick Nocerino, right, Jordan?
was doing a lot of research.
Is that Nick Nocerino?
Using crystals to teach people how to channel, become mediums. You want to get
I know, this is
information.
Dale Walker.
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah,
a
Dale
lovely
Walker
lady who
used
works
to
with
talk
Native
about
American
this too.
techniques and
Dr.
fairly popular
Marcel
with that.
also.
She had been
Because he
had a
had so
tradition of
many
crystals all her
guests,
life, but
man.
had not been teaching.
Not only one about
She
one
hadn't gotten the message that she was supposed to do this.
topical subject.
And actually, I was the only one at the time who was out there waving rocks.
I hear them all.
And they really,
But the list
very
it goes
unkind
on
things.
forever here.
You got rocks in your head too, fella. And but I think the worst.
But well,
I think the
we got an
meanest
idea
thing
what
was my
you can
daughter.
find there, right?
I mean, she introduced
you
me.
got here Joseph P. Farrell also. Cotterill, Maurice Cotterill, Peter
All
Levenda.
of those people, but on the Bill Jenkins show.
Yeah, you got them all.
Yeah, but these are all different people that I recommend, but he's not Bill Jenkins. This is not Bill Jenkins. You go back to Bill Jenkins. Right there. That's the one I highly recommend. You need to listen to all of his shows, because all of Bill Jenkins' shows were absolutely mind-boggling, fascinating shows, where he talked about extraterrestrials, aliens, wolfmen, underground bases, child sacrifice, all kinds of strange subjects. And I'm fascinated listening to Bill Jenkins. He was a wonderful and dear friend.
They're not shows like this anymore. And now one very strange story you talked about one time. It was about this being suddenly levitating or something. A campfire family. Do you remember this event? It was like a reptilian or something. Could it be? You remember this?
No, I don't remember.
you got more people calling you for something.
Yeah. No. What
this
was
is the thing
it?
about life? You know, this is Jordan's daily life. So you see that he's a average person like anyone else, like me and whoever, but doing extraordinary things, like he said. And remember, this is the book by Jordan also. I read it like a few times, that old-time religion, about astrotheological stuff. I actually highlighted some stuff too. Paul Tice is in this book. Alan Snow is in this book. It's very interesting. Has also interviews with the people from Conram also. Paul Tice talking about the lunar symbols and stuff like that. But this story, I'm going to try to remind you, because I heard it when you were doing some talk many years ago on Glendale. I think you had him on the radio. Christian family could be. It's a Christian family. They saw some reptilian being or something doing a ceremony, and they got like freaked out. Could be. Remember this, Jordan?
No. What family? I don't. I'm not hearing you.
In Vegas, there was a family in Vegas. You were. I'm trying to recall this adventure of yours. I think you had this man on your radio many years ago, and then you told us the story at I don't know if it was Pasadena or Glendale or some there in Southern California somewhere. This was Christian family, Vegas, having a weekend campfire. Suddenly they are, nighttime. They hear some chanting or something. Some kind of being pops up from nowhere and tells them to go away or something. Could be.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that was. I'm not remembering at the time, but just keep in mind I am 80 years old.
Yeah. Well,
half the time I can't remember who I am.
No.
Yeah. But I'm trying to remember that incident. I don't recall.
Mm-hmm. I remember you telling on the radio. I mean, that you actually interviewed this guy on your show, and this guy belonged to a very rich family. I don't know if it was Nevada or Vegas or even Arizona or something like that. Many years ago, they went on a weekend or something with the boss. I think it was two families, perhaps. They were on a campfire thingy going on there, They were just relaxed with the children, and suddenly,
Yeah. I know now. I know now.
yeah.
Now I know. Now let me tell you. I know. I remember
But
now.
was I giving you the right plot, the right way, or not, or you were not recalling the story?
There were two different shows that you are
Yeah.
quoting. Two different ones,
All right.
and that's a long story. But it was about the reptilians,
Yeah.
and this guy was from Las Vegas. He a family man from Las Vegas, and he had a big company. He was a very wealthy man
There you
who
go.
buy and sells hotels.
Mhm.
He was always buying and selling hotels and casinos, etc. And I was talking on the radio. I used to do a radio talk show in Las Vegas, and I was talking about the reptile aliens on my radio show in Las Vegas. Aliens who were reptiles.
Mhm.
And he called me after the show and told me about his experience that he had with his whole company. That when this whole company they went on vacation, he said, my wife and I, we go on vacation once a year, and we take all of my employees. There was about 4 or 5 guys that work in his office, and he said we all go on vacation together every year. And he said, last year we went on a vacation to Colorado Springs, and we encountered, while we were there, a reptile alien. He
Mhm.
was very large, maybe 7 to 8 foot high, extremely well built, very muscular, and had a reptile's head and a reptile body. And he said, he just told me about his experience with meeting a reptile alien. And he said, so when you talk about reptile aliens, a lot of people think it's a bunch of bull, but we actually encountered one. My wife, my children, and my 4 employees and their wives and children, all of us saw this thing together. We all confronted this reptile alien. Yeah, and he said it was very tall and very powerful. So he was just telling me, so when you talk about reptile aliens, they exist. We were there. We saw one. And it's in Colorado Springs.
And do you believe, Jordan, these are reptilian, that they were hybrid? There's a theory, well, a hypothesis, obviously, because it's unprovable at the moment. But I hear some researchers, and just word of mouth, that these kind of beings could be actually from Earth, made here for some purpose, rather than coming from outer space, but maybe based on some other reptilians from outer space. But the ones here, they are actually from here.
I think that they probably were indigenous to this earth. They were probably here before mankind was. They were here before the Egyptians were, or the Hindus.
Yeah,
I'm
like
saying
the
they probably were here
Ogdoad. You know, the
way
Egyptians, they have
before.
the Ogdoad.
They were probably, I don't know. They were probably, these reptile aliens were here a long time before ancient Egypt ever existed. And they've been here all the time. They've been here all along. We just never saw them. They don't need for you to see them. They can watch you. You don't need to see them. And they are very clever and very smart and technologically brilliant. They can hide themselves right in front of you. You don't even see them. So that's what I think. And so
They can mimic themselves. They can even look or appear like humans or something, like
they
like
can
these
shape
insects.
shift. They can
Yeah,
shape shift. The word is shape shift. They
Shape
can
shifting.
they can shift what they look like. They can change, and you look at them and they look like your mother. They
Wow.
look like your father. They look like your brother, but they're not your brother. They can make themselves look like your brother, your friend, your employee. They can
Mhm.
make it look like your dear friend from across the street. No, They're not your friend from across the street. They can make themselves look like. That's why they're called shape shifters. They can shift what they look like and change themselves so that you will see them the way you see, but it's not who you actually seeing. You're seeing somebody you recognize, like your great grandson or your grandson or your partner in business, and you think you're talking to your partner in business, and you
Like
have him come over to your house and have dinner with you.
like this
Never
doppelganger effect, a clone or
and
something.
never ever realize he's not your partner in business. He's an alien, reptile alien who knows how to change his shape. He knows how to change his look. So he looks like somebody you're familiar with. So you don't mind talking to him. And he's talking to you, but you don't realize he's actually, in fact, a reptile alien.
Wow.
But he looks like what you want him to look like. He looks like somebody you're familiar with. But that's why we talk about the reptile aliens being shape shifters. They can make themselves look like anybody they want. They can fool you anytime they want.
Mhm. But they could be from here. They could even have been here for many thousands, millions of years, or whatever. They could have something to do with the dinosaurs or something.
That's
Perhaps,
what I think.
perhaps, and that's why the dinosaurs for like 50 million years, 60 million years, they didn't have any technology, and suddenly, you say these people, I mean, these beings, whatever you call them, they have technology, huh?
Yeah. And I
Uh-huh.
think whoever they are, they've come here millions of years ago. And when they came here from out there, somewhere out there, these extraterrestrials came,
Mhm.
and they were reptile alien reptiles.
Because the mythology of Egypt, the beginning, there is like these 8 divinities called the Octoed. You know the Octoed?
Yeah.
They are reptile beings or something, and they actually shape-shift, but they're the creators. One is creator of the sea, the other the earth, or whatever. So like you're saying, even they're probably way before Sumeria, Sumer, or whatever. The Zazumin and whatever. Is it true, by the way? I mean, it just popped in my head. Is it true Zechariah Sitchin had a contract with you or something, and you had some business with him going on?
Zechariah Sitchin and I were in business together.
Hmm.
We had a company together. We were in business together. I gave him a large sum of money one night in San Diego.
Hmm.
I called him in New York and I told Zechariah in New York, I said, Zechariah, I'd like for you to come visit me for a few days in San Diego. I want to talk with you about some business. And he said, all right. So I sent him the money, I sent him the airline tickets, and I put him and his wife at a really nice hotel in San Diego, downtown San Diego. And when he got here, him and his wife, we went out to dinner. There's about 10 people going out to dinner with him. And
Wow.
I was one of them. And so after dinner, we were sitting around the table talking with Zechariah Sitchin and myself. And Zechariah said, okay, what's the deal? What's the business? So I told him, I said, Zechariah, I'd like to be in business with you. And I'd like to be able to send you to at least 8 different countries of the world and send a film crew with you. And we film you talking about whatever you want to talk about, your research. And we make a 13 one-hour mini-series to be sold in universities and colleges and schools and universities and bookstores, etc., on Amazon. I want to do a 13 one-hour television series on you. And you go to the different countries you want to and talk about what you want to and educate the people of this world. And I will send a camera crew with you, and they will watch you, they will videotape you. And so I said, and if you are agreeable, we sign a contract together, you and I. And he said, all right, I'm agreeable. So we signed the contract. He and I did, that we would work together. So he was my business partner, and so I had a chance many times. I had chances to talk with Zecharia Sitchin in private because we were in business together.
Yeah, you can see him right there. There's a video of you actually talking to him. I don't know if you see it. It's right there.
Yeah, that was up in San Francisco. I was up there with Zecharia Sitchin. He was speaking at a conference, and I got him the opportunity to speak there.
Mm-hmm.
So he and I went up there together, and we were up there in San Francisco together. And he had just got through doing a speech when I approached him. I said, Zecharia, while you're here, I'd like to do an interview with you. He said, okay, let's do it. So we went over in this room. We went to this little room at the hotel, and my friend Paul Tice, who was
the writer of the book too, with you, co-writer. Yeah.
Say it again.
The co-writer of your book, The Old Time Religion, right here.
That's right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And he's got also like a publishing company or something.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. I believe, yeah. Very interesting. I mean, there's so many things to still get, here in on the back burner. But we're gonna let you go because I know you're very busy, Jordan. And just stick around for 1 minute, because I want to tell you something off the air.
Okay.
We're gonna be saying goodbye. And I really appreciate, Jordan, you coming, to the show, to the Colin Rivers show, and everyone that was here. I want to also mention again Jordan's website. That is the JordanMaxwellShow.com, right, Jordan? And
That's
get on
correct.
the Research Society and donate some money there. If you have some Bitcoins, some Satoshis, go ahead and donate for Jordan. Please help Jordan. Yeah. We will have Leo Zagami soon too. And Leo's also kind of a friend of ours, and he does shows also with Jordan. He's got his own channel and broadcasting now. He's on the Alex Jones show. Jordan has been on every single interesting show that you could ever think about in America, in the United States. Jordan, thank you for coming, man.
Thank you for allowing me. Thank you for asking me. And keep in mind,
it's an honor.
And keep in mind that when you go on my website, Jordan Maxwell Show, there's another website you need to join called Jordan Maxwell Research Society. That's another website that you have to join, but that's where all of my research is. All the books and videos, audios, research papers, documents, everything. It's all there on my Research Society. So go on my research show and join my Research Society.
Yeah, we got it on the screen, and I'm also captioning these two for less than $30. You can join, and you get a lot of information, a lot of shows, audios, videos, new things coming up from Jordan. Hail Jordan and long live Jordan, of course. Jordan, we're going to be cutting off, but I want to talk to you off the air, so don't go away, huh?
Okay.
So don't go away. And this is see you later for everyone there. I really thank you, everyone, whether you came from the Anglo-Saxon world or from the Spanish world.
Speaking world.
Yeah. There you go. Anyone here? On 3, 2, 1, and lift off. We're leaving now. This spaceship called Colin Rivers Show. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, and good luck from north, east, west, and south, from Australia to California, and from New York to Madrid and London. Godspeed, everyone. Bye-bye.
To the west, and my spirit is crying for me.